Hey everybody, Omar here, your South African knife guy, and I'm back with another fun-filled video for you. And I thought I would do this video once again. So this video is pretty much trying to explain how I got into collecting knives and how if you're a knife collector, how your collection can elevate and to the from like the least expensive all the way up to the most expensive, and what's the difference and how does this all happen. Like I said, I've done this video before, but I wasn't happy with it. I'm probably going to wind up doing it again until I find that I actually think it works pretty well. So we're going into my knife collection. What you see here on the table is really more like just an eighth of my collection, not even that. But I dwindled it down to about 12 knives. And I've got the 12th one off over to the side because it doesn't actually fit in this little case that I got here. But we're going to go ahead and get started anyway. So usually what you're looking for in a knife is, when you first start a knife collection, is what is considered a good knife. And there really is nothing wrong with a good budget knife. And we're going to start off with this one right here. This is the Kershaw. Oh man. Yeah, this is the Kershaw Iridium. There you go. And this is a budget piece, but it's a really, really good knife. It's got the Duralock on it. The steel is D2. Yep, D2 steel. What we have here is sort of like a Wharncliffe type of a modified Wharncliffe type blade. The knife is made of all aluminum, and it's just a really good budget knife for those that are looking for just a really good tool. This knife is all aluminum. The Duralock is based off of the Benchmade's access lock. They call it the Duralock, and it might be just a little bit better, I think, than the access lock. They made an improvement on it. I'm not quite sure how they did that. So the Kershaw Iridium is the first knife. The second knife, everybody's aware of. Now, when you get into titanium knives, you're getting into very high quality knives. So we're punching up the price. This one's about $50. You can probably even get it for like 40. Now we're moving into the over $200 range already with the Kershaw 0562. Nice pocket clip, all titanium, carbon fiber scale. This is not a thumb stud, it's more of a blade stop. However, you can use it as a thumb stud if you know how to deploy it correctly. Basically, you just kind of shoot up. And even though it's not a thumb stud, it's actually a blade stop. You can see that because this prevents the blade from traveling up. So, yeah. And everybody has either this knife, the paramilitary, or the Benchmade Osmore 940. All those three knives pretty much started the whole high quality revolution in knives, and that's why this knife is in my collection. The next knife is from We Knives, and this is an integral made by Gus Caccini. And for the life of me, I can't remember the name of this one. But yeah, this is a integral knife, meaning it's all one piece, all titanium. You know, as you know, most knives are usually with two pieces of material sandwiched together to create the knife. This one, it's all one piece. The method of deployment is new, made by Gus Caccini. It's called a spring-loaded tab. Basically, this little tab here has a spring on it. And what happens is once you push it to this level, the back side or the underside of this little tab pushes the knife out. So you get a nice smooth action. It runs on ceramic ball bearings. And it's just a fantastic piece, all in bronze, made by We Knives. The second one is made by Best Tech Knives. This one is called the Ornetta. I got this one a while back. This is a frame lock by Best Tech Knives called the Ornetta. And it's made by a knife maker named Kambu is his name. Or Greg Grabarsky is his name. And he is the maker of this knife. I chose this knife because this is kind of like the beginning of getting into customs. If you look closely, you'll see there's a lot of milling on this knife. Lots of milling on it. You got this, and this, I mean, the type of machining that it takes to make a knife like this is ridiculous. It is just overly overdone with all the milling on it. You can't really see it in the camera, but even over here by this area, they've got so many tiny lines of milling in there. That's sort of like a special kind of machining it would take to do that. So I got this knife for that reason. The knife is incredibly smooth. I mean, it is just a dream to flip. It just feels good to flip this thing all day long. Love it. And so that's it for the 4 production knives that I have here on the table. At this point in time, I started to get into customs, and while this is not my first custom, this is just to show you what a custom knife is if you guys aren't familiar with it. What you're getting when you go custom is you're getting a knife that is completely made by hand, meaning there are no machines made in the construction of the knife. All the machines, all the tools that the custom maker uses to make the knife, in many cases, the knives are so custom that the machines or the tools that he uses are actually made by the maker just to make the knife. And that's all part of the process. This one is an American custom. I think this one's really fantastic. It's got a dagger type style blade. The blade steel is 154 CPM, which is a really good steel. The materials that make up the knife is zirconium and blue carbon fiber. You got that beautiful royal blue carbon fiber look on there. And it's a 2-material knife. You got zirconium for the bolsters, carbon fiber for the handles, and again, back to the zirconium with the pocket clip. Dagger style blade, so it's tactical. And you notice that the blade is kind of pointed downward just a touch. So that just kind of goes to show how a custom knife is built, because there's more attention being made to the knife when it's made by hand as opposed to a production knife. And that's another difference between production knives and custom knives. You have to understand that production knives are made on a budget, right? So there's a certain amount of money that they can spend up to a certain point to give you a good quality knife. When you go custom, the price for the knife can go way up there, just because there is no limit. It's all based on the creativity of the knife maker himself and what he chooses to do or what he chooses to make, and the end result would probably make the price of the knife bump up, depending on the materials that he uses, depending on the blade steel, whether or not the knife deploys with ceramic ball bearings, or is it a special deployment now made on the knife that makes it bump up the price. There's reasons behind why knives cost so much, and this was made by Jason Clark. That's an American custom, by the way. Moving on, we have a French maker named Jean-Pierre Martin. And this is a really special knife. We have Damascus inlays on both sides of the knife. You have carbon fiber. And this is a front flipper with a Warrants clip style blade. There's the knife maker's logo there, J.P. Martin. The blade steel, I believe, is... You can't remember what the blade steel is on this. I believe it's M390. We got a Warncliffe style blade. At a glance, it looks like the knife has no pocket clip. And this is why I got the knife. Because in reality, it does have a pocket clip. And you can see that it's got a pocket clip right about here. See, if I push up, the inlay pops up. There's where your pants would stick into the knife, right inside there. And then you release it, and now it's clipped onto your pants. There are no ball bearings in this knife. This knife is made with all washers. It's just a beautiful, beautiful knife. And it's just as smooth as if though it were on ball bearings. It's just incredibly smooth. The next knife is from a knife maker named Barry Bernard, right? I got this one because it's incredibly light. This one's really unique. It's all carbon fiber. The knife weighs about 1.6 ounces, excuse me. And it flips like a dream. The knife has 10 micro ball bearings inside, giving it a really smooth action. There are no liners on this knife. It's all carbon fiber. The only thing you can see in this knife is like a subframe lock from here all the way down to the end of the knife, only on one side, which makes the knife incredibly light. I'm actually getting another one made by this guy. We've got a blue titanium pocket clip. It's a gentleman folder, and just really smooth, really light. More like an elegant office knife. I mean, you wouldn't be using the knife to cut heavy cardboard boxes, but more along the lines of maybe, opening Amazon packages, that kind of stuff, which is mostly what most people use knives for anyway, unless you're a construction worker or whatever it is your job is. The next knife is my latest custom. And by the way, the price for all these knives now are going up. This one was right around, I think it was like $8.50 I paid for this one. By Jason Clark. Also, most of the knives don't have names. And this one by Jean-Pierre Martin. This one was about $9.50, I think. Yeah, $9.50. This one was about $7.50 for this knife here, in case you wanted to know. The next knife, the price now elevates. We're looking at right around $1,300. Yeah, for this one. This one really cost me. We have royal blue carbon fiber and zirconium, plus another zirconium pocket clip. What makes the knife so expensive is this pivot ring around it. It's a superconductor, and superconductor material is incredibly expensive. This one, again, is a front flipper, using your thumb to flip it open. I just love the way the knife looked. Lots of reasons why people buy knives. I mean, I just love the look of this. I had to have it. I just had to have this one. This knife here is made for me, which is why I wanted to show this one. This knife is made by Clyde Challenor. And by the way, I forgot to mention, this knife is called the A10. This is actually a dual-made knife made by Andre Thorburn and Andre Van Heerden. With Andre Van Heerden, I believe, the designer of the knife, and Andre Thorburn doing the building for it. They share the responsibility for the knife, for the making of the knife, and that's what makes it so cool. This one is made by Clyde Challenor, and this one was made for me. It's called the Viper, and this is a frame lock knife. As opposed to liner locks, which were all the other knives. This one has M390. You got blue carbon fiber inlays on both sides of the knife. And yeah, you got your titanium pocket clip. It's just a rugged custom. This one cost me at the time, I believe it cost me about 1100 for this one. If you look closely, there's no pivot. He ghosted the pivots. So the pivot, you can still kind of see it a little bit. It's kind of hiding in there. He basically just made it all the same. Almost looks like it's a pivotless knife. This is the only one he ever made like this. So that's another reason why it's special. And he made this one for me with the blue carbon fiber scales. When you get a knife made custom for you, you actually get to speak with the knife maker, letting them know what it is that you want on your knife, how you want your knife to look, and basically he custom makes it just for you. A lot of cases, it will just be a one of a kind, and you'll never see another one like it ever again. So the second knife is the same knife, but if you notice, it's a completely different looking knife, which means you have the same exact knife, different configuration, right? And this one is more souped up. We have a Damascus blade as opposed to an M390 blade. You've got red carbon fiber inlays on it. And he blackened the titanium on here. He never did that before, so that's what makes this one so special. It's the fact that he blackened it. It was an experimental thing that he tried. He also did experimental on this one by ghosting the pivot. He had never done that before either. So that was kind of something new that he's tried. So it's just a perfect example of two knives that are custom, same model, different configuration. Now you move on to the ultimate custom. And this is what's called a full dress piece. Full dress piece basically means there is nowhere on the knife where there isn't some sort of art on it. So on this knife, which is called the Ghost Fin, made by Henny Duplessis, we have a Damascus blade, right? You've got Damascus bolsters, right? And then you've got a Damascus pocket clip. You also have carbon fiber handles, right? And then when you flip the knife over, it doesn't end there. We've got the liners have this file work, this sort of beautiful file work that he's done. It's all done by hand. And then to top it all off, he does a titanium backspacer with engraving on it. And if you look closely, my name is on the knife. It's engraved. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go, a little better. There's my name, Omar, on there. On the inside of the knife, you see the maker's name, Henny Duplessis, and the engraving was done by his wife, Ilse. She does the engraving, and I love this one. Also a front flipper knife. Now for the pièce de résistance. We have another full dress piece, but this would be more like the ultimate full dress piece, right? Also made by Henny Duplessis. Here it is. This one is more of an art knife than an actual everyday carry. You could definitely use it as an everyday carry, but most people that order knives that look like this will not use it as an everyday carry. They would use it as, if it's in their pocket, they'll use it, but it's not something they would take out every day and use. We've got a dragon steel blade. We've got full engraving of a dragon on both sides of the knife. Here we've got a dragon with the gold inlay for the, I guess those are the whiskers and a little bit on the tail there. We've got a moon and then the black background of the dragon, and then it continues on the back of the knife with the dragon appearing up out of the ocean. Now all that engraving is done by hand by Ilse, and if you look, the scales of the dragon are actually part of the pocket clip. So this is pretty much the ultimate in custom knife with engraving. Finally, we've got bolsters, which are meteorite bolsters. You heard that right, meteorite. This is actually chunks of rock from space that they put on the bolsters, and it's very expensive. It's incredibly expensive, and that's what makes this knife so special. So we go from looking at someone's knife collection. I'm just using mine as an example. You go from the cheapest to the more expensive, going all the way up until you reach this ultimate thing here. And this is how knife collecting starts. I mean, I actually had a whole bunch of budget knives when I first started out collecting. And because I didn't really know anything about knives, you actually have to go through that whole process to learn, to educate yourself in knives. And each time you buy a knife, you learn something new. And as time goes by, you begin to learn more and more about knives and how they're constructed and how they're made. Other people move on to actually continue on making knives. Other guys like me just love to be a fan in the background collecting them, and I'm perfectly happy just collecting these things. It's a hobby. It's an expensive one, and sometimes it can really get out of hand. But people collect knives for different reasons, and I just wanted to go because I've always been fascinated with knives. I wanted to see, it's always held my interest. So that's it for this video. I don't know how I feel about this one. I might do it again, mostly because a lot of my videos are not scripted. They're just me rambling on and talking about my knives. Plus, I got a brand new setup for doing these videos, which I'm still trying to figure out how to use it. So we'll see how things go for me, or whether or not I'm going to continue making YouTube videos. I don't even know. I think I have some interest in my YouTube channel, but not enough to make money. But at the same time, I do this just to share. So that's it for this video. And again, I hope maybe you guys got something out of this. I don't know, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But either way, I hope you got something. Hopefully, I introduced you to some new knife makers at least. Again, this is Omar, your South African knife guy. And that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you.